All right, let's get right into it. We're heading to Chandigarh because something big is going down at Panjab University, one of India's most well-known institutions. It's actually being hit by two major but very different protest movements, all at once. So, we're going to break down exactly what's happening.
So you've got to ask the question, right? How does one university become the center of two massive parallel protests? What is really going on that's causing so much turmoil on this historic campus?
Okay, so let's start with the biggest conflict. This is the one that involves teachers, alumni, and, the very structure of how the university is governed. And it all boils down to the future of something called the University Senate.
Now, this is not just some small disagreement. We're talking about a full-blown standoff. The whole thing is centered on this Save the Senate movement, which is being led by groups like the Panjab University Teachers Association, or PUTA. And for them, they believe they're fighting for the very democratic soul of their institution. So, what is the Senate anyway? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like the university's own parliament. It's a democratically elected body. It's where teachers, alumni, and other key people from the community get a real say in the big decisions. The whole point is to make sure that power isn't just stuck at the very top.
And this slide really gets to the heart of the entire conflict. The protesters are seriously worried about a shift away from the system they have now, an elected representative Senate, to a totally new proposed board of governors. See, this new board would be appointed, it would be centralized, and most likely controlled by the administration or even the central government. It's that classic battle, decentralized power versus concentrated power. And while some might argue that a board of governors could make decisions faster, for the protesters, it just means they lose their voice in how the university is run.
And things are getting really urgent. The current Senate's term is set to end on October 31st, 2024. But here's the catch. No new elections for these key graduate seats have even been announced. This is just fueling the fear that the plan isn't to hold elections at all, but to just let the Senate dissolve entirely. The clock is ticking.
This quote really captures the deepest fear of everyone protesting. They genuinely believe that if the Senate is dismantled, it's game over for democracy within the university. All that decision-making power would just shift to a handful of individuals, and the voice of the wider academic community would be silenced.
Now, while the faculty is fighting this really high-level battle over governance, there's a completely separate protest movement erupting at the exact same time, and this one is being led by the students themselves.
You've got all these different student organizations, NSUI, CYSS, FFS, a bunch of others, and they've actually formed a coalition. While the teachers are focused on the structure of the university, these students are on the front lines, protesting the immediate, everyday challenges that really define their experience at the university.
So what are they fighting for? Well, it comes down to some really fundamental stuff. We're talking about a shortage of hostel rooms that's leaving new students with nowhere to go. There are constant hikes in course and exam fees. Then there's the food in the messes. They're saying it's poor quality and costs too much. And on top of all that, there are ongoing security issues with outsiders just coming onto campus.
Now, as you can probably guess, a conflict this big at a major university was never going to stay just on campus. It's totally spilled over into the wider political world of Punjab, which just adds another messy layer to this whole situation. Of course, major political parties in the state have jumped in. The Akali Dal is claiming that the BJP-led central government is basically trying to take over the university. Meanwhile, the Congress Party is framing this as an attack on Punjab's historical and cultural claim on the institution itself.
So, with this perfect storm of unrest brewing on campus, you've got the faculty, the students, the politicians. It all leads to the one crucial question. Where does Panjab University possibly go from here?
Honestly, Panjab University is at a massive crossroads. You have these two parallel movements, and even though they're fighting for different things, together they've created this campus-wide atmosphere of just deep uncertainty. There's now this undeniable demand for change, both in student life and in the administration.
And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. Is all this intense pressure from both the faculty and the students going to lead to meaningful reform, and maybe even a stronger university? Or are these challenges going to permanently change the very identity of one of India's oldest and most respected centers of learning? The answer to that is going to define its future.